Hey guys, this is Echo Soundworks and you are checking out a massive tutorial for ADSR sounds. So in this video, it's going to be a tip and trick style tutorial. We're going to look at alternate tunings that you can use with the phase modulation inside the modulation oscillator to kind of get more of a unique characteristic from that effect. So this is a really prominent effect for deep house, future bass, future wobble, all those sort of genres where you want that FM style sound and you're using native instruments massive. So with the modulation oscillator, what you get is you get these four different basically modulators, and what they're going to do is affect the signal of either of the three oscillators. So it doesn't actually introduce a new signal into the kind of the routing of massive or the output. It's affecting one of the three oscillators depending on how you set it up. So the phase modulation is a very popular one to get that frequency modulation or FM style sound because they're very similar to the ear. So right now I have a bass that is a future house type bass. Let me pitch this up to positive 14 and we'll play it real quick. Right, so it sounds like a future house, deep house type bass. Now, if I pitch oscillator 2, which is the only oscillator active, back down to 0, something weird kind of happens, right? The pitch or the tone gets higher pitched instead of a lower. Well, that's because it's playing with the modulator carrier situation that's occurring with the phase modulation, the modulation oscillator. So I wanted to show you these alternate tunings that you can use with pretty much any wavetable. Some of them it doesn't work, but with most of them it will. That will get different tones from the phase modulation. Now to do this, you need the phase modulation above or about halfway. If you don't, you're going to kind of create some weird tuning situations. And you might be thinking, what about tuning and how is this going to work with other instruments? Well, it actually works fine if you know the correct, ratios or the semitone counts. So if I have a basic sound in massive and I tune it to positive 14, it's going to be two semitones above 0 and 12 or negative 12, and it's going to start to create an interval. Well, because you're using the phase modulation, this doesn't occur because of how the modulator and carrier signals are introducing these sine frequencies and creating the phase modulation. So right now, if I play this with a basic patch and massive, it works, right? Now, if I turn off the phase modulation, we're going to get an interval sound. Right? So I think that's why some people don't play around with this, is they think that, oh, if I pitch this up to positive 14, it's going to make the tuning all wonky and weird with other instruments. But with the phase modulation on and above or about halfway, so if you have it down lower, it starts to not work as well. So yeah, positive 14 is actually a great one. So let's run through some of these kind of weird ratios or values that will create different tones with your future house, deep house type basses. So 0, I guess, is a good one. It's not that high, it's not that low. So 4 is another good one. So listen to the difference between 0 and 4. And then 4 to 7, a little bit cleaner. Again, this still works with your sound. You might be thinking, whoa, that should be a fifth because 7 semitones is a fifth, but with the modulation oscillator off, it definitely is a fifth. But with the modulation oscillator on and the phase modulation about halfway, it plays just fine with the other instrument that is in standard tuning. So 4, 7 are good tunings. 14 is another good one. Let's listen to the difference between 7 and 14. Right, a little bit beefier, a little bit edgier. 25 is another good one. So yeah, 4, 7, 14, and 25 are some really interesting values that you can use in conjunction with the phase modulation to get a different tone out of the sound that you're using. So there's 4 compared to 25. 25 and 4. And it's just a subtle change with a lot of these. But for instance, if I go to 26, it'll still sound cool in isolation. 27 is another cool one. Like 22 obviously doesn't work with the standard tuning. It still works. If I turn this off, it actually kind of sounds weird. But some of these will sound fine in isolation, but with the actual, when you kind of layer them with other sounds, the tuning might be weird. Like 21 sounds weird. 15 sounds weird. So yeah, there's a few cool ratios. You get 4, 7's really interesting, 14, 25, 27. It's really cool. So there are some alternate tunings you can use when you're messing around with that phase modulation inside of Massive. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.